Alright, so this is going to be just a tutorial on how to get the Wii U hacking tools working if you're wanting to use them for Wind Waker HD or other games that they can apply to. Alright, so pretty much the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go download the Wind Waker HD, not Wind Waker HD, the Wii U hacking tools version 5.0. This is the link in the Wind Waker HD Discord. There will also be a link in the description of this video. It's just a MediaFire link. So click on it, download the zip file for it. It is prone to being detected as a virus on most computers, or against most security software. So you might have to create an exception for it for when you're trying to download it. But anyway, when you download it, you'll get this zip file. And just take the contents of the zip file out. And so now, in this file, we have three things: the PC apps, the SD card, and the README. The README is just pretty much what this tutorial is. It goes through the instructions on how to set it up, but I know that even with instructions, it can still be confusing sometimes, and you can still run into some problems, which is why I'm making this video. So, alright, first thing is SD card. In SD card, you're going to have a file called Wii U. You are required to have an SD card for this method of homebrewing, by the way. So with this folder, Wii U, you're going to want to put this into the root of your SD card. So this is my SD card right here. And I already have Wii U in here, so obviously I'm not going to overwrite it because I have other applications for homebrew that are also in this file. But all you have to do is you just have to take this Wii U folder and then drag it into the root of your SD card. That's all you have to do right there. Alright, and then once it's in there, you can eject your SD card and put it into your Wii U. So I will do that. I'll switch over to Wii U scene. Alright, so now the SD card is in. I'm on my Wii U. The first thing you're going to want to check is you're going to want to go to the settings for your console, and you're going to want to make sure that you have firmware version 5.5.1 installed instead of 5.5.2, which is the latest release. I can't show you, I don't think, on here, but on your gamepad when you do this, at the top right corner of your gamepad, it'll show you what firmware version you're on. So right now, mine says 5.5.1U. The letter's not important. Just make sure you have 5.5.1 and not 5.5.2. If you have 5.5.2, I'm sorry to say that this is probably not going to work very well for you. Or sorry, but if you have 5.5.2, you're not going to be able to homebrew this way that I'm showing you right now. So don't try it. Anyway, once you've checked to make sure you have 5.5.1, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to go to your internet browser, since this is where the homebrew exploit happens. And you're also going to want to make sure that the computer you're using and your Wii U are both hooked up to the same network, because that's how they communicate with each other. Anyway, before I get into this, the first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to click the door at the top left of the screen if you're on a website. You're going to want to go to your settings, which on the gamepad is the wrench in the top right. And then, this is all on the gamepad right now, but once you hit the wrench in the top right for settings, you're going to want to scroll all the way down. And then at the very bottom, there's a button that says, activate developer tools, or something along those lines. It's in Spanish, so I don't know what the translation is. But pretty much, you're just going to want to activate the developer tools. You click accept, and then you click activate. And when you do that, your gamepad will show you the current IP address your Wii U is using. And so you're going to want to have to note that down. You don't have to note down the port, which is the numbers after the colon. Just note down the first number to the last number before the colon and the dots in between. Because that's how your computer and Wii U are going to communicate for the information. Alright, so now that we've done that, The website that we use for homebrew hacking is called loadine.ovh. So that's what the URL is: LOADIINE.ovh. So if you do that, you'll be taken to this web page. I'll also put a link to that in the description if you, for some reason, don't know how to spell it. It will detect your firmware, so if it says 5.5.2, you know you're on 5.5.2. And it obviously says in big letters, do not, like if you're on 5.5.1, don't update to 5.5.2 because it doesn't work. Anyway, where it says select your program right here, you're just going to want to choose the first option, Homebrew Launcher 1.3, because it says 5.5.0 to 5.5.1. And you're just going to click Submit. And if you put your SD card into your Wii U, this should work right here. It attempts to load a MP4 file, which then gets exploited. Alright, so now I'm on my homebrew menu. These apps you won't have. The one you will have, if you put your Wii U folder into the root of your SD card, is the one at the top right here, TCP Gecko Zelda Edition for advanced Wii U hacking. One thing, or one error that people seem to commonly get is when they go through and they try to, like, they press submit and they wait for a bit, they'll get an error that says FS get mount source failed. I don't know why that happens, but I do know that I was able to usually fix that problem for myself by simply taking my SD card back out, putting it into my computer, and, like, deleting the Wii U folder and re-putting it in, or maybe even re-downloading the entire zip file again. So, I don't know, I just found that doing that tends to fix it, at least after, like, only 1 or 2 tries, so I guess it's just kind of finicky. But anyway, once you get here successfully, you're going to want to just hit the Wii U hacking tools, hit load, and after a while it's going to take us back to the Wii U menu. And from here you're going to load up Wind Waker HD. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to desktop screen. And I'm going to open up the other folder that we had in here, the PC apps folder, right? So, TPHD, obviously that's Twilight Princess HD. It doesn't really matter for Wind Waker HD, obviously. But you do have these two, the Wind Waker HD or the Zelda Save File Manager. The Save File Manager will work with either TPHD or Wind Waker HD, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to show you guys how to use the hacking tools. So go into Wind Waker HD, and we have 2 applications. We have the Data Viewer and the Hacker. The Data Viewer is pretty much just, you know, link speed, X position, Y position, what your inputs currently are on the control sticks, and what your current stage and layer are. And to connect, if you've done everything correctly, you'll want to enter in the IP of your Wii U that you got from activating the developer tools. So I entered mine in here, I click connect, and now we can see all of my data. Doing this will also create input logs that will log everything you do, all the inputs you give the game right now, as long as the data viewer is connected. And those will get put into an input logs folder, which could potentially be useful if you do something weird that we need to, like, research or something. But anyway, so yeah, this is the data viewer, so it can be used for tricks that may need, like, precise angles, precise speeds, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, next we have the hacker, which is probably one of the more useful application. You connect in the exact same way, entering in the IP you got from the developer tools. Hit connect, and now you have access to all these different hacks that you can use. The storage down here doesn't really matter that much, don't really worry about that. Usually the two, or I guess not the two, but like the most common function you'll probably use is store position and restore position. Store position and restore position are exactly what they sound like. If I hit store position, then link's position will be stored, and if I hit restore position, it'll go back to wherever I stored the position. One thing that you should note about this is that if you pull out the Wind Waker while in-game, doing that seems to break the store and restore position functions. So if they aren't working, you could try reloading the map, which is another function right here you can use. And then store and restore position should work again as long as you don't pull out the Wind Waker. I don't know why that happens. That's just how it works, right? Alright, we also have map selects down here, which I don't really need to explain right now, but I guess I might get into later. And, you know, moon jump is what it sounds like. It makes you go up really high. I'm going to switch back to the game now just to show you some of these functions. So I'm in game. Okay, so one of the functions was super speed. So if I get out of the boat right here and then click super speed a bunch of times, we'll begin to travel really fast. And yeah, so that's one thing. If I hit store position and then go forward and restore position, Link will keep going back to that position every time I hit restore position. This also keeps Link's angle, so whatever angle Link had when he stored the position, he's gonna like reform to that angle when the position gets restored. There's also moon jump. Oh yeah, okay, so right now I pulled out the Wind Waker and now the program's having trouble like responding. I don't know why the Wind Waker breaks the hacker, it just kinda does. Alright, so I'm gonna quit out of the hacker just temporarily and open it up again. Alright. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. So like I said, even if like you pull out the Wind Waker, cancel it, and then like reload the program even, it still won't like respond sometimes. It's just something about the Wind Waker that makes it weird. But yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of all the stuff we have. Yeah, so I hope I explained all of that somewhat decently to you guys. As for the map select stuff, if you want to see like stage names and stuff, there's a giant spreadsheet of them that you can use that was generated for the original Wind Waker, but the same like stage names and stuff are still in the HD version. So if you want to do map select, you would enter in the stage name, enter in the spawn ID and the room ID of the stage where you want to be. Usually those two are just like 0, so don't worry about those. And for layer, also, by default, you can just enter in FF, and you should be fine. Very rarely do you need to edit the layer if you want to get to a specific place. But, yeah. So that'll be it. I hope you guys found this helpful. And, yeah. Tutorial.